What India has to offer in terms of growth upside is certainly attractive, right? This is a big market and it will continue to grow. But besides the issue of foreign direct investment regulations, there are other structural issues that also need to be addressed to make it attractive to attract investors. And that includes, a lot of the infrastructure issues, whether it's, in terms of having available airport capacity, low-cost carrier terminals, air traffic upgrades so that you reduce a lot of these congestions that are really stifling the industry, issues like the taxes on fuel. These things have to be addressed because ultimately you cannot sort of relax one part without addressing some of these structural constraints. We don't look at code sharing in the traditional sense as a viable alternative because it does require a lot of process and system integration. That adds cost and complexity. What we'll be more open to is leveraging on the new internet distribution technologies that make it easier for consumers to buy two sectors together, right? So for example, buying an AirAsia X flight from Kuala Lumpur to Mumbai and maybe a Mumbai to Goa flight on one of the local LCCs. Those things would be interesting to explore rather than a traditional code sharing model. One, because you're using a much bigger plane, you have much more space efficiency in the number of seats you have on the plane. Second, when you fly long haul, you can fly around the clock. You can fly late nights, whereas you'll notice that the short haul planes, they only tend to fly during the day, and at night they don't use the plane. So we're able to extract a much higher utilization rate, for example, flying 17 hours a day, as opposed to an airline flying only 12 hours a day. And you've got more seats in the plane. So that gives you already a lot of advantages. The other things for us is obviously efficiencies in labor productivity, cabin crew, pilots, efficiencies in airport operations, having a strong base in Kuala Lumpur. This is what allows us to have the significant cost advantage. While there's a lot of promise, and we're very heartened to see that there's a lot of take-up and interest from people in Delhi, Mumbai to fly on AirAsia X to visit Southeast Asia. The challenge for this route has been to attract the same number of people from Southeast Asia to visit Delhi, Mumbai. So our loads right now are primarily driven by people from India. And what we're really hoping to get is a 50-50 mix so that it's much more stable across the whole calendar year. Right now, if you're relying only on Indian travelers, it does get quite seasonal, right? Some months during peak travel period, super full, other months not so full. So normally on other routes, we get a 50-50 mix. So our challenge is to work with the Indian industry to figure out how do we make Delhi and Mumbai more interesting and appealing destinations for visitors to fly.